Poštovani gledaoci, dobra večer. O, rekla bih, ponovo aktualiziranoj migrantskoj situaciji večeras razgovaramo sa šeficom IOM-A u Bosni i Hercegovini, Laurom Lungarotti. Dobro večer i dobrodošli.
Thank you.
Evo, za početak, kakva je uopće trenutno migracijska situacija u Bosni i Hercegovini i šta je ono što možemo možda očekivati u budućnosti?
The situation of migrants in Bosnia and Herzegovina is evolving. We have seen a steady increase of arrivals since 2021. Last year, overall in the Western Balkans, we had more than 200,000 migrants entering the Western Balkans. The difference vis-à-vis previous years is that migrants do not stay. They are not stuck in Bosnia and Herzegovina, nor in general in the other countries in the Western Balkans. They tend to transit quite quickly on their way out towards Western Europe. So we've seen a shift of trends, less time spent in the transit facilities and very, very quick movements across the country. Nationalities are also changing. We've seen a recent increase, especially in July, of Moroccans, in addition to Afghani, but also Iran. So we continue to monitor the changing situation. And obviously the focus is increasingly changing and need to stress more the counter-trafficking, counter-smuggling efforts because we feel that most of those movements are organized by smugglers and traffickers. So this is the increasing concern. Overall, we don't have a problem of accommodation. We have enough accommodation capacities. As of today, for instance, there are 2,000 migrants accommodated across the 4 transit facilities. The majority are in the canton Sarajevo. We have a minority staying in Unasana canton. It's completely changed vis-à-vis the past. But as I said, the focus needs to be on controlling the smuggling and trafficking ring and dismantling them increasingly because these are the real drivers of movements of migrants at the moment.
Čuli smo i prethodno iz vašeg odgovora da je brojka migranata manja. Znači li to eventualno zatvaranje određenih privremenih prihvatnih centara ili kampova na području Unsko-Sanskog kantona, poput Borića?
The choices of closing or opening camps rest with the authorities. First and foremost, the state authorities, the Council of Ministers, in coordination, of course, with the cantonal and municipal authorities. So obviously at the moment there is a continuous monitoring of the number of people who are accommodated in Borići, which are not very many at the moment. So maybe in the long term there could be opportunities for closure of that center and regrouping into other existing centers. At the moment, no decisions are yet taken. We are following the situation. There's been also a lot of investment in Borići, which used to be a student dormitory and now has been transformed into a state-of-the-art accommodation facility. So we are also discussing with the state, with the city, the possibility of using to the best opportunities and to the best use, make best use of the center in the future for the city of Borići. So for the time being, no changes. We are monitoring and it's going to be a decision which rests with the state and the local authorities.
Koji su ključni prioriteti, možda da se vratimo na one fokuse IOM-A u Bosni i Hercegovini, u rješavanju svih izazova, migracijskih tokova i migracija uopće?
Yeah. So we have never, I would say, abandoned the priority of also caring for the host population of Unasana here, which have been at the forefront of the response since the beginning. So we continue side by side with the assistance to migrants to work on so-called social cohesion initiatives. They imply working on social infrastructure for the canton, for the city, which allow more services to the citizens. So in the past few months, in the past year, we've invested a lot in some key services. For instance, now as we speak, there are ongoing work for the refurbishment of the child surgery section of the cantonal hospital, where also many child migrants have transited and have been supported. There are many other infrastructure works that have happened in the canton, which, for instance, target schools, playground for children in some targeted schools, support for ambulances, support for public works. So this continue to be a priority and will continue to be a priority in the future, as well as, of course, access road to the camps beyond and around. In addition to that, we are also feeling increasingly that the focus needs to change into other dimensions of migration, such as control of borders, supporting the state in aligning with the EU accession plans, also in terms of infrastructure, operating systems at border, interoperability between Bosnia and the EU when it comes to migration management. So these are all key priorities on which we are working with the authorities of Bosnia and Herzegovina.
U prethodnih nekoliko dana, nažalost, aktualizirali su se ponovo neke informacije koje su dostupne javnosti da je bilo sukoba među migrantima, evo konkretno i u kampu Lipa, ali i općenito. Na koji način IOM gleda na to? Evo, možda možete li se vi na neki način uključiti u proces rješavanja sukoba među njima?
So when it comes to security in the camps, first and foremost, let's reconfirm and let's clarify to the audience that since April 2022, DKPT, the Direction for Coordination of Police Bodies, is in charge of the security of all transit facilities in Bosnia and Herzegovina, of course, as well as in Unasana canton. So it's a police body, which is it's a state police body which is managing the security inside the camp. They have been trained both in terms of understanding migrants' behavior and profile, and they are capable of intervening in case of issues. Occasionally, there are small or big tensions within the migrants' communities, so over little things that can sparkle tensions, but we never had any serious issues of concern to the surrounding communities, nor even to the managers of the centers. Lipa particularly is managed by the Service for Foreigners Affairs, which is also fully capable of understanding migrant behavior and managing them accordingly. So I wouldn't be worried. First of all, the numbers are totally manageable, and second of all, there are issues that are totally under control in a normal life of different groups working and living together.
Da se vratimo pozitivnim temama, vi ste već i donekle spomenuli određene aktivnosti, međutim šta je ono što IOM na što je fokusiran u lokalnoj zajednici kad su u pitanju Bihać i Velika Kladuša, nas to najviše zanima.
So just to give you an idea of the investment that has been done in social activities and public works, in the past year more than 400,000 BAM have been invested in the cantonal Unasana infrastructural works. They've included, as we said, a playground refurbishment across various cities where migrants tend to pass by. They've involved also support to local health centers. The cantonal hospital has been delivered with a very specific and high state-of-the-art, I would say, high-technology cystoscopy for kids. And then, as I said just before, we are now refurbishing the child surgery section. So a number of activities of interest to the canton, and new call for proposals have been just launched for social cohesion intervention, both addressed to the municipalities as well as to the NGO sector. So we continue to remain engaged in the area of support to the host communities.
Novo pitanje koje se nekako pojavilo jeste pitanje radne snage, koja je također vezana za migracije i s kojima se suočava i Bosna i Hercegovina. Na koji način vi možete detaljnije objasniti sam taj proces, na koji način su migranti uključeni u cjelokupni taj proces i projekat, ako ih tako možemo nazvati?
So you have to consider, you know, that of course that Bosnia-Herzegovina has one of the highest ratio of people of origin of Bosnia-Herzegovina residing outside of the country vis-à-vis those who reside inside the country. So there are, in percentage, more people from Bosnia residing outside of Bosnia than inside, which means that there are some serious labor gaps in some areas, from agriculture to tourism to construction, where employers are desperately looking for workers. And so increasingly we've been consulting with Employers Association, with Chamber of Commerce, and we understand that there is an interest in looking into regular labor migration flows to Bosnia-Herzegovina to fill these labor gaps. And so this is a new area in which we are increasingly engaging. We are organizing at the end of September a dialogue which is focusing on unleashing the positive potential of labor migration to Bosnia-Herzegovina. We're bringing employers from the entities as well as policymakers and academia to talk together about what are the obstacles to efficient labor migration schemes to Bosnia-Herzegovina, what are the opportunities that regular migratory flows of workers can bring to the country. And also we have to consider that the more there are regular channels for people to migrate, the less people will venture into irregular migration and take difficult journeys or ask support for smugglers. So we see an immediate correlation between opening more regular channels for people to migrate because of work and diminishing the smuggling and trafficking rings and those who are migrating irregularly. So it's a win-win for both. It's a win-win for Bosnia, but also a win for the countries of origin of some of the migrant workers. Today, Bosnia-Herzegovina has many employers who are employing themselves already migrant workers in some sectors, but they do so independently, autonomously, and without necessarily mediation from the authorities. So we would like to elevate this discussion to the state authorities, involve also the embassies, so that every recruitment is supported by efficient mechanism, so there is no exploitation and everyone gains out of this regular migratory channels.
Možemo li na kraju onda, s obzirom na sva nova pitanja koja smo pokrenuli, kao zaključak ipak izvesti to da je i stav IOM-A i evo cjelokupna situacija da je pod kontrolom i da se gleda nekako da se izvuče, uslovno rečeno, pozitivno i za jedne i za druge?
I think the conclusion is that Bosnia-Herzegovina has done an enormous amount of efforts in increasingly managing mixed migratory flows which are coming to the country. The phenomenon is evolving, there are new challenges, and so it's important to be on a pace with these new challenges, such as trafficking and smuggling are on the rise. At the same time, you rightly pointed out that we also need to look at other dimension of migration, positive dimension of migration that could bring also economic growth to the country, and one of them is definitely looking at labor migration, regular migration to Bosnia-Herzegovina. That's a positive area of work for both Bosnia and the country of origin, in which IOM is very committed to support all authorities and all stakeholders. So overall, migration is a complex phenomenon which has very many dimensions, and we need to work on all of them to make it important and fruitful and useful for every country.
Hvala vam za ovaj razgovor.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Prema svemu sudeći, vratila bih se na početak i rekla, iako je situacija i migrantska kriza aktualizirana, prema odgovorima koji smo čuli, situacija je pod kontrolom i razloga za brigu, dodatnu brigu, više nema. Hvala za pažnju i doviđenja.